We're ready for our next set of interviews for the 2021 Big Sky Basketball Virtual Tip-Off. I'm joined by Idaho State head coaches Sobolesky and Ryan Looney, and student athletes Callie Bourne and Tarek Cool. We're going to jump right into our first set of questions here. Coach Sobolesky, your Bengals are the reigning conference champs. Do you feel that puts a target on your back?
Yeah, I think it naturally does. I think that the times we've been on the other end of it where we didn't win, we didn't win the championship, but to play the champion from the year before, it's a little bit of a bigger game. So, yeah, I think it definitely and naturally does.
Now, Callie, you've been with the program since you were a freshman. You're now a senior. How are you approaching this season differently, if at all?
I wouldn't say we're approaching it differently. We always have a hardworking ethic towards the preseason and just hardworking and don't really focus on the future, but ourselves in the preseason.
Do you feel that's what's made you successful? Is that kind of a mindset?
Yeah, I feel like we focus on ourselves a lot during the preseason and not about the future and the bigger games ahead, and just take it one practice at a time and see what we need to work on and improve on.
Now, Tarek, you have not been with the program since you were a freshman, but you are a senior and you've been with the program, I believe, since 2019. Are you approaching this season any differently? What's your mindset looking like heading into this season?
Not a whole lot differently. I think obviously our team's come a long way from when I got here and Coach Looney got here 3 years ago. But I think this year there's a little bit more respect of our program. I think the only different approach that we might have is just trying to build on that reputation and continue to make strides in the right direction.
What do you think is going to be most important, Tarek, in continuing to build that reputation?
I think just taking it one day at a time, one game at a time, and understanding that meeting our small goals will lead us in a good position come end of season in Big Sky tournament play.
Coach Looney, talking about the Big Sky tournament, your team certainly exceeded expectations last year. What made your team so successful last season?
You know what? It was a really interesting time, obviously kind of having to deal with all the COVID protocols as you manage a college basketball season. But for us, it was even more unique because a year ago we had 13 brand new players in our program, all guys that had never played in a Division I basketball game before. So just kind of navigating all of that became interesting. I think regardless of all of it, the thing I was most proud of is how much better we got from the beginning of the season to the end. Our guys learned what it took to win a game in the Big Sky Conference. And I think ever since then, whether it was workouts in the spring or the 8 weeks we had together this summer, or now as we're preparing for our season, our guys are approached every day the right way.
So when you talk about having so many new guys on a team and then having been as successful as you were, what would you say really was the central message that you shared with them throughout the season?
I think it was pretty simple. We knew it was going to be hard to get everyone on the same page offensively in a short amount of time. The number of practices were reduced. Honestly, the way we practiced was a little bit different because of COVID. So honestly, we just tried to really hang our hat on our defense and our rebounding. We went from a program that wasn't very good defensively or on the glass, and I think we ended up 10th in the country in points allowed per game and number 2 in the Big Sky in rebound margin. So I think we laid kind of a blueprint in regards to what we need to do to continue to get better. We know that we still have to be a great defensive team. We know that we need to improve even more on the glass. We're hopeful that here, with now a bunch of returning players that have experienced a lot of the things that they need to experience together, that we can be a much improved offensive team as well.
All right, so sticking with that theme of returning players, Coach Sobolesky, you already going to unmute your mic because you know you have so many returning. How key is it to have so many of your important and key, everyone's important, but all those key players returning in this season?
Yeah, well, one of the most valuable things you can have on a team is experience. And we feel like we have that. We've had people that have been in big games and have played in the national tournament and have gone through this grind for, Callie's going on 4 years. We have people who have gone on 5 years, and then a player that's gone on her 6th year of college basketball. So as a coach, it's kind of nice. There's a lot of things that I don't have to worry about because they just kind of know what to expect. And it's interesting with a group that experienced how you have to adapt your practices and how you approach things, because we want to keep it fresh and people working hard, and it's going to innately be a grind, but we've got to find a way to keep us into it and excited to play games and finding ways to improve. And we also have a big responsibility to bring along some really good freshmen that we're excited about and new people. So we're focused on that.
So in the summer, you talk about having so many returners and having the experience. Now you have to practice differently. So in the off season, what was the focus?
Well, we try to give people the break that they can get in the summer. It's tougher for some people than others, but and just our summer workouts being as adaptable to people's summer plans. People need to see their families if they can, and they need to recharge their batteries and find ways to do that while still trying to keep basketball sharp. And so we approached it that way, but we're trying to move on to more advanced skills. Our returners will know how to run the offense. They'll know how to do this and that, and there's a lot of bases that are covered. So we try to work on some very specific things for specific people to improve on this year.
All right, Callie, so talking about specific things to improve on, what was the focus of your off season?
A lot of everything, a mixture of things, developing my fundamentals even more with my left and right hand, always improving the shooting and defense aspect of being able to guard the 1 through all the way to the 5, being able to defend all those spots to help out was probably what I've been working on the most.
Tarek, same question for you. What has been your focus in the off season?
I would say just continuing to learn, and I think experience is going to play a lot of valuable tool for me, understanding what other teams are going to throw at me. And I think my biggest focus would be just being able to take better care of the ball, becoming more efficient offensively, and then obviously continuing to improve on the defensive end.
Coach Looney, a big theme here is experience. And with COVID, there are so many teams returning more players. And so how does that increase the difficulty of competing in the Big Sky Conference?
You know what? We feel like we return as much, if not more, than anybody. We know the Big Sky Conference is going to be a battle on every night. Great players, some experienced players, great coaching. But we return 99% of our scoring, rebounding, and minutes played. And if you could come into practice right now, I think it shows. We're way ahead of where we have normally been at this point in a year. So we're excited about our group. We're excited that we now have a ton of experience in our program. We haven't had that here before in the short time that our players and staff have been there or here. But we are also excited about some of our newcomers as well. We've added 4 new players who are learning extremely quickly. Some of these older guys have demonstrated some fantastic leadership, kind of helping them through everything that they got to figure out as a college student and a basketball player. So we're excited. We know the league's going to be good, but we think we can be good too.
Can you give me a bit of a preview of those new players who are joining the Bengals program?
Yeah, we added Jared Rodriguez, a transfer from the University of San Diego. He played a ton of minutes the last 2 seasons. for them there. Obviously, because of that, has a ton of college basketball experience. And then we have three freshmen, AJ Bergen, a point guard from San Diego, California, was close to a 2,000 point scorer in high school, probably would have exceeded 2,000 points if his senior year wasn't shortened because of everything going on in the world. And then we have two international players, Louis Stormark, 6'8", 240-pound big man from Denmark, played for his national team this summer. We've been really impressed with him on both ends of the floor. And then Pablo Tamba, a big, long wing player from Spain. And he spent the summer playing in his national team program as well.
I'll look forward to seeing the contributions that they're going to make to the program. Coach Sobolesky, same question for you. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the new additions that you have to your program?
Yeah, there's so many of them, including a couple walk-ons. I'm scared I'm going to forget to talk about somebody, but yeah, I think we feel like we've added some, really good young talents and a mix of some freshmen, and then we also have a 4-year transfer in Ivana Murillo, who's coming from San Diego State and who's originally from Columbia and played some junior college basketball, so she's got a lot of experience. But we're going to have a mix of everything. We've got a really good guard from Dallas, Texas, Anaya Bernard, long, athletic. Once she figures it out, and you can say this about all the freshmen, once they figure it out, they'll be pretty good. And 6'4" post from Australia and Kayla Solomons. We have a local girl, Tenley Smith, that played here at Century High School, who's a smart guard, very fundamentally sound, coach's daughter. We have Paisley Spike, who's from Folsom, California, who's a athletic forward who's got a developing perimeter game, but she's really on the right track. Man, who else am I forgetting? We have a couple injuries. Mia Flor and Sofia Covello are going to be out this year with ACL injuries, but them taking a seat this year and watching will really be good for them. So we're excited about the future of our team, and not just our returners, but our young people. And we kind of have a weird thing. I don't think we have one sophomore on our team. I think we're either freshmen or juniors and seniors and super seniors. So it's a really unique situation.
That is a unique situation, and I'm sure it'll be great to have those upperclassmen help them acclimate into the program. So, Callie, something that really sticks out to me about your team is the sisterhood and the team chemistry. Over and over and over again, it was said. I remember watching you all in the Big Sky tournament, and it was just evident. Can you tell me what it means to be a part of that program?
Yeah, I think we have a great culture in our team and the environment we have on and off the court. I think that helps with the team chemistry. We all get along really well. We're all super close because there are a lot of international girls. We do kind of have to have that family vibe around our team because we don't get to go home very often. So we've formed really close bonds over the past few years because we've been together for such a long time now, so that really helps to be able to transfer onto the basketball court.
So, Tarek, gonna head over to you. The brotherhood that exists on the men's side, can you tell me about what that's been like for you?
I would say our culture is definitely developing in the right direction. From the moment I stepped down here, I mean, there's a dramatic difference between that team and where we are now with the returners. I think the new guys integrated well with us. And I think we're just continuing to try to build that culture and that foundation. But I like where we're at right now.
Coach Looney, when he talks about this culture, how would you describe the culture that you've implemented there within the program?
Well, I think there's a lot of different components to it. Our staff has tried to recruit the right guys that fit the mold of what we're trying to get accomplished every day. We want to be disciplined. We want to work hard, not necessarily on the floor, but in every area that's thrown at them in regards to student athletes. We want them to be in class. We want them to achieve while they're in there. We want them to work hard in the weight room. We want all that to carry over onto the practice floor as well, trying to make sure that each and every one of them can create great habits in every area of their life. quite frankly, every single day. And we're hopeful that when we step on the floor in game day, all of those characteristics will show. But they're doing a good job. I can genuinely say I think our group really likes being around each other every day.
Coach Sobolesky, you see a lot of new coaches on the women's side. How do you think that's affecting your outlook on the season and how you're preparing?
Well, we'll be watching the non-conference games very closely. And they're new coaches in terms of being new to the Big Sky, but the kind of the coaching culture, these are all people that I've known for a long time, and I've known the people they've worked for, and you've had conversations with, and so you know them as people. But it's going to make it very interesting to see the new dynamic. There is definitely some systems that were in place with old coaches, and now you have new coaches that are there that are going to bring in new stuff, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it all develops.
Do you feel that your program is at an advantage because you are a more experienced coach in this conference?
I think it helps in certain ways, but at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to play the hardest and who has the better team, and you've got to still win basketball games. So I think there's certain things that kind of can help you out a little bit, but yeah, end of the day, you got to find a way to win.
Callie, coach touched on non-conference. You got a pretty difficult non-conference slate picked out for you there. So when you look at the schedule as a whole, non-conference and conference, what are the games that you're most excited for?
I think I speak on behalf of the team that we're all excited for the bigger school games. We always look forward to that and test ourselves and see how we go up against the bigger schools. We really look forward to that and see how we can push each other. And that's when we learn what we need to work on the most going into the conference games. But we also love conference when it gets there too. Like, we love playing the different teams, but then getting back into our conference and seeing where we're at compared to last year. So I think the season as a whole, we're just really looking forward to it, and getting back to playing is what we love most and why we're so competitive and just want to win games again. So get back to that.
Tarek, are there any games that stick out to you on the schedule?
Obviously, I'm looking forward to Nebraska, Cal, and then obviously returning to Air Force again. We played there my first year. We beat them there, so I'm looking forward to that one. I know they have a new coach, a new team. I'm just looking forward to seeing how we stack up and in preparation for Big Sky play.
Coach Looney, heading into this new season, what excites you most about your program?
Just all the familiar faces, all the guys that got a ton of experience in a weird year last year. Like I said, a year ago at the time, it was the complete opposite dynamic. We had a bunch of guys that had never played together without any experience, and now we have the exact opposite dynamic in our facility every day. We got a bunch of guys who kind of know what to expect and what's in front of them. They also know kind of what we expect from them as a coaching staff too, every single day as well. So I'm just really just excited to keep growing with the group that we have. I think that's the biggest indicator of success. The more continuity we can have amongst our staff and with our players, the better off our program's going to be.
Looking forward to it. Idaho State, thanks so much for your time today. This is the Big Sky basketball tip-off on ESPN+. Thanks so much for joining me.